All right, moving on to lesson 11 or Sutra 11. Okay, and again, a long name is pronounced as Vyasti Samansti. So, Vyasti Samansti. What does that mean? The English translation is part and whole, right? So, today we'll explore this sutra, which basically just means part and whole, right? So, this sutra is a philosophical principle that encourages us to see the relationship between the individual parts and the universal whole. Okay. So, in authentic Vedic mathematics, this sutra embodies a profound philosophical principle that transcends mere calculations, right? So, the Sanskrit term Vyasti, individual, right? Vyasti, Vyasti, individual or part, right? And Samasti, which is collective or whole. So basically, you can say individual or collective or part and whole. So that's what it translates to. Represent the connectedness between parts and their whole. So the principle reflects the Vedic understanding that the universe consists of parts that together form the harmonious whole. And that by understanding the relationship between parts and whole, complex problems become simple. The holistic perspective guides mathematical reasoning in fraction, ratios, and proportions. Okay, so let's look at the first example where we have a fraction which is 1 divided by 4 plus 3 divided by 4, right? We, in a modern math, we know, okay, the base is same and you just add, but that's not how we will look at it. We will look at these relationships between part and whole, and we'll use that to solve this. So that way, any other large numbers can also be done similarly. Okay. So the first step is identify the parts. So 1 by 4 and 3 by 4. So what is common? It has the same denominator. Okay. So the Vedic approach to fraction addition reveals the elegant simplicity of the part whole relationship, right? So rather than focusing on mechanical procedures, the ancient sages viewed fractions as portions of a unified whole. So when fractions share the same denominator, they represent parts of the same whole unit. So by recognizing this relationship, addition becomes intuitive and we simply combine the parts while maintaining awareness of the relationship to the whole. So this insight transforms fraction operations from um, abstract manipulations into meaningful relationship between quantities. Okay. So we identified 1/4, 3/4, those are the two parts. And then what is the whole of that is basically combine that into one, right? So that's what it is. The numerator becomes 3 plus 1 is 1. So now you complete the whole, which is 4 by 4 equal to 1, right? So that's kind of logic, the way you think about it by recognizing again the patterns to solve this, right? So again, that's the first example. So let's look at the second example, which is the mixed numbers, right? So which is basically you're taking 2 3 by 5, right? So there is a whole and a fraction in there. So identify the whole and the part. So in this case, the whole is 2 and the part is 3 by 5. Okay. So again, the Vedic approach of mixed numbers demonstrate, right, the finity between whole um, and and the part. So it demonstrates the fluidity between the whole and the part, right? So in Vedic mathematics, whole numbers and fractions are not seen as fundamentally different entities, but as different expressions of quantity. So the sages recognize that whole numbers can be expressed as fractions of their own denominator, so allowing seamless conversion between mixed numbers and improper fractions. This perspective reveals the underlying unity of mathematical expressions and provide an intuitive framework for manipulating quantities. So now we combine, so we saw the two parts. So basically what you do is we take the whole and we convert that to also a part. So if you keep the same denominator, so 2 can also be written as, if the denominator has to be 5, the numerator is 10, right? So now you have 10 by 5 and 3 by 5. So you add those two, that's 13 by 5, right? So if you want to solve this, is 13 by 5, and you want to verify if it is same, so you work reverse, right? You divide 13 by 5, so you know that is 10, so which is 2 times, and then 3, right, and 5, so remainder is 5, right? So when you divide 13 by 5, so 2 and 3 by 5, right? So again, this just even though the numbers is small here, but it's the way you recognize the patterns and the way you recognize the whole and the part, right? And then how you can solve complex fractions or mixed numbers um, easily using this Sutra 11, right? So if you look at this particular sutra, right? So it basically teaches us to see the underlying unity in mathematical problems. So by recognizing relationship between the parts and the wholes, we can approach fractions, mixed numbers, and other mathematical concepts with greater clarity and insight. So the Vedic insights we have explored reveal that this sutra is not just a mathematical technique, but a philosophical principle that encourages us to see the interconnectedness of all things. Right? So this holistic perspective transforms complex mathematical operations into intuitive relationship, making mathematics more accessible and meaningful.